Hello, and welcome back to the study of Genesis. Let's jump right back in. Genesis 1:11. And Elohim said, Let the earth bring forth grass, the plant that yields seed, and the fruit tree that yields fruit according to its kind, whose seed is in itself on the earth, and it came to be so. This, my friends, is a period of planting seeds. When Yah said, Let it be so, He is the architect of all creation. Each day is 1,000 years during this period. These seeds would need all the designing to survive, grow, and reproduce, whose seed is in of itself. These days of creation are much work, not only for our Father, but Yeshua and all the heavenly host. Our Father said what to do and how to do it. This is told to us again later on in Genesis 1:26, and Elohim said, Let us make man in our image, after our likeness. Now, to make a claim that Yeshua or the angels were creating is to give Abba's glory to another. And the earth brought forth grass, the plant that yields seed according to its kind, and the tree that yields fruit, whose seed is in itself according to its kind. And Elohim saw that it was good. This is the germination of all plant life. Germinate means to grow and put out shoots after a period of dormancy. Now, how do we know this? Because the sun had not yet been created. As a child in elementary school, they had us children plant grass seed and place it in a file cabinet, totally black with no light. And after some time, the grass grew, but it was not healthy, and at some point would have died out completely had it not received light. Just like that grass seed without the sun, Yeshua, the light of this world, we will die in darkness if we do not seek Him. And there came to be evening, and came to be morning, the third day. So we have Elohim, the one true Creator, seeing the design He had made, and saw it was good, without flaw, perfect. Did you get it was all perfect? Every plant bearing seed? So this ideal that there's this devil's plant is a scare tactic spoken mostly by the self-righteous. All plants serve a purpose, and most of these folks condemning others are the same folks who eat abominations. I'm not saying to run out and smoke as much tobacco as you can, making it become an idol to you. What I'm saying is it's not the plant that's making you sick, it's what man has done to it that makes it a poison. Let's stay with Scripture and judge righteously. What did Elohim say about the seed-bearing plants? And Elohim saw that it was good. I'll take His word over man's, if for no other reason than not to judge other men by the traditions of man. Bereshith 1:14. And Elohim said, Let lights come to be in the expanse of the heaven, to separate the day from the night, and let them be for signs, and appointed times, and for days and years. And let them be for lights in the expanse of the heaven, to give light on the earth. And it came to be so. Notice that came to be so. This is the same as Genesis 1:2, when the earth came to be formless and empty. Came to be is over a long period of time, 1,000 years at a time in the case of creation. But we have Yeshua in Genesis 1:3, And this light came to be instantly. But every day after this, it came to be so, over a long period of time. Genesis 4:3, and it came to be in the course of time that Cain brought an offering. See, came to be is not instant, but over a period of time. Bereshith 1:16. And Elohim made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night, and the stars. Made in the Hebrew is ashah, and its meaning is to do, fashion, accomplish, produce, to work, act with an effect, to prepare, to put in order, to observe, to be produced. Where the word created in the Hebrew is bara, and its meaning is to create, shape, or form, always with God as the subject of the new conditions or circumstances. To be created of birth, something new. We see this throughout the first chapter of Genesis, made and created. Remember, Yeshua is right now preparing a place for us. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. See, in the same way Hasatan worked himself up in the first earth age, so do all other creations of Elohim. There is always work to be done, worship to be carried out. We serve a living Elohim. That means duties and tasks in the service of our King, in the worship of our Creator. Now, I know many of you are lost because you think Jesus was God in the flesh, which I've showed you that error in the first few verses of Genesis. And you picture heaven as Disneyland, but you're wrong. It is not heaven as the church teaches, where cherubs are playing flutes for your entertainment as you fly around in a state of bliss. Although being in the presence of Elohim and the Son is going to be a wondrous thing, we aren't headed to Disneyland, but to a real kingdom with a real king. And as any king, there will be a real constitution to be followed. Meaning, as the word made in Genesis means, the heavenly hosts are doing the work of the Creator. When we read, and Elohim said, and it came to be so. This is the grand architect, and everyone else is given the powers and authority to make it so. But there is only one true Creator. Notice four other things in this Genesis verse. And let them be for signs and appointed times and for days and years. There is no months. That's because we do not follow the moon, but the 30 days they fall in. But that's for another video. To keep this video short and simple, allow me to touch that there are two translations to moon in the Bible. One is for the physical moon, and the other is the 30 solar days, the 29.5 that the moon falls in. Remember, we are children of the light. We walk in the solar days, light that makes the grass grow, and Yeshua, the light that feeds our soul. And you'll also notice nowhere in Genesis has he given man domination over the heavens. So man has never been to the moon. Notice also there is no planets. You take what you want from that. But I mention it because those folks following two suns and preach Planet X is going to crash into us or bring a demonic being on it have nothing but a reflective lens glare and a big imagination. But they're all about bringing people into that worthless rabbit hole. Okay, let's finish this day of creation out. And Elohim set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And Elohim saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the fourth day. This is the physical representation given to us of the spiritual light and dark from Genesis 1 through 5. This is telling you to live by the greater light, not the lesser light. This is also a source of stumble for those who have fallen into moon worship. Because they have chosen, or many tricked, into following the darkness, because they have allowed the text of man to trump the message of Elohim. Now, because so many fall into moon worship, they scramble around looking for the silver of the moon, adding a 13th month to make it all work out. They have to do this stuff because the moon is a liar. Just like Satan, the moon is a representation of him. It is not only the moon worshipers who follow the synagogue of Satan. Folks who follow the pagan calendar of man also stumble in the feast days of Yah. And you also follow a moon-based calendar. It's the blind leading the blind. The calendar of Elohim is only for his children. Why would he show someone who loves the world and its ways his feast days? It's better that they mock him in ignorance than in fallen rebellion. I have shared with everyone how to count these days, as I will do once again here at the creation of the sun and moon. Yeshua, Genesis 1:3, the light of the world, equalization of light and dark. This is our spring equinox, the start of the new year. But what about these 4 days before the sun and moon were created? They're missing. That's because they can be found right here in the first chapter of Genesis. These are the equalization of the summer solace, the fall equinox, and the winter solace. That's the 4 days that are missing. It's all about positive and negative, both spiritually and physically, as this is the system you and I live in. I can count the calendar out for 100 or even 1,000 years, and every single day will fall on the exact same day every single year. No confusion, as I do not follow the author of confusion. Okay, I suggest you stop and pause these videos to get a solid understanding before we move on into the next verses, because this ride in the creation story isn't done yet, and it only gets more interesting.